Oh, my Lord, you're kidding me.
Yes, exactly.
My mother told me it's ugly.
What was once considered a worthless piece of art, bought for a ridiculous $1.50, has shocked the art world with its newfound value of thousands.
$3 price sticker on it, and for that day, since everything in the store was 50% off, I got it for $1.50.
Okay.
Its painter is Fremont Ellis. He studied painting in New York and started painting after coming back to New Mexico. The great use of light in the sky, trees and water show his Western painting style. The back tells the location of the painting.
It's Red River Canyon, El Rancho del San Sebastian. He's known to paint there often. It's very important in American painting.
He was born in 1897 and died in 1985. The guest, who paid $1.50 for it, was surprised after knowing its auction's value.
$10,000 to $15,000
Oh,
for it.
my Lord, you're kidding me.
Yes, exactly.
My mother told me it's ugly.
Wow. My goodness. That's wonderful.
We are presented with an album the guest inherited from his mother-in-law's estate. This is the title page of the album, indicating it was taken by Carlton Watkins, an American landscape photographer of the 19th century, considered a master of the photographic medium.
A camera into the landscape that used glass plate negatives, coat these glass plate negatives on site, take his picture, remove them, take them to a processing tent.
This album features a period Morocco binding from the 1860s, which is spectacular and sets the stage for the content inside. Typical of Watkins' works, there is a kind of clarity and inherent beauty in the pictures that transcends photography as a documentary form.
And that, in fact, shows photography as a fine art, aesthetic form.
In terms of quality, these photographs are a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. They are album imprints, featuring a rich brown, almost eggplant tone. What's fascinating about this album is the unique selection of photographs it contains.
I counted 50, and it's fairly certain that this is the only album of its kind with this particular selection and number of images.
Based on the fact that this is a presentation album with 50 original photographs, at auction, this whole album would be estimated in the price range of
$70,000 to $100,000 price range.
Wow. My goodness. That's wonderful.
Oh, you're kidding. My mother's gonna die. Okay.
I'm not kidding.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Our guest shares that their grandmother bought the table at an estate sale in 1955. The appraiser explains that identifying the table's origin is challenging due to
When to find out where a table was made is we look for secondary woods.
Okay.
And in this case, we can find white pine and oak.
Oh.
Despite the difficulty, the appraiser does identify the table as a Gothic Revival parlor table, which was inspired by 12th century architecture, but became popular in the 19th century. This table's design includes Gothic elements such as vertical lines, a wide base, and burl insets, reflecting its Christian-inspired roots. The appraiser notes the Scottish thistle marquetry on the table, suggesting it was likely made.
Oh, wow.
If not Scottish, English for the Scottish market, because the Scottish thistle is so important to Scotland.
The marquetry technique involves dyed woods, with intricate patterns cut and inset into the surface. This table dates from the first half of the 19th century, between 1825 and 1865. The appraiser estimates the table's auction value to be
At $15,000 to $25,000.
Oh, you're kidding. My mother's gonna die. Okay.
I'm not kidding.
Wow, that's wonderful.
The vase, acquired in Leningrad post-World War II, is signed Nicholas II and notable for its grandeur. Such vases are usually made from brilliant crystal. This vase showcases intricate floral or foliate engravings. This hefty price reveals fascinating craftsmanship.
Heavy piece, there's certainly lead content to the glass. The design, unlike so many more commercial pieces, was done with a copper wheel.
Handcrafted and costly, this piece highlights more colored glass than clear. Master artisans often crafted these vases at the Imperial Glass Factory. This vase's tall form and intricate engravings exemplify Russian decorative art's opulence and refinement. Its majestic beauty and intricate craftsmanship as the appraiser valued the item.
Certainly be in the $5,000 to $7,000 range.
That sounds very, very, very good.
Oh, really? Oh.
The guest bought this around 1960 for a mere $15. The guest marvelled at the British symbols present in the piece and thought it to be a British man-of-war representation from before the American Revolution. However, upon closer inspection by an expert, it was revealed that the piece was not from 1775 as actually believed. Instead, it was identified as a woolly, a form of needlework created by British sailors dating back to around 1840 and continuing through the 19th and early 20th centuries. Woolies, primarily made from wool, are a rare and cherished collectible, with their origins and creators largely unknown due to the lack of signatures and sparse auction appearances. This woolly featured slightly faded greens and blues, indicative of its age and the fragility of textiles. Despite this, it was considered an exceptionally good example. The design included the English rose, the Scottish thistle, and what appeared to be Irish three-leaf clovers, though it notably lacked the leek symbol of Wales. Additionally, it bore the British and French flags, suggesting a complex history tied to British naval encounters with the French. This particular woolly stood out for its intricate details, including small tassels and beadwork for the crown. Given its quality and rarity, the expert appraised its insurance value at.
I would put an insurance value of this in a heartbeat at $6,000.
Oh, really? Oh.
Wow.
This particular lamp, affectionately dubbed the brain lamp, has been a cherished family heirloom for as long as the guest can remember. There is indeed a type of glass known as brain glass, but this lamp was not made from that material. Instead, it featured turtleback tile iridescent glass, characterized by its thinner composition compared to other glass items. The lamp's base was a patinated bronze vase adorned with lily and pad feet. This lamp was an authentic Tiffany piece, dating back to around 1910, and the base bore the Tiffany Studios mark, confirming its origin. A chain added to the lamp later on detracted slightly from its value. The appraiser suggested that it could be replaced by the original Tiffany chain to increase its value. Noting the lamp's rarity, she estimated the lamp's retail value to be between
At $30,000 to $40,000.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Our guest shares how she purchased the bracelets at Galleria Capistrano in 1981, initially buying one and returning for the second with her husband's encouragement. The appraiser reveals that the bracelets were made by Charles Laloma.
He was a remarkable personality, and he looked like a rock star.
He was
a beautiful young man. He was a Hopi ancestry. He was from the Third Mesa.
The appraiser explains Laloma's struggle with traditional art shows due to his innovative approach.
The work was very nice, but it was not Indian.
Yeah, too ornate.
Because he was stepping away from the traditional in a way that's just breathtaking.
Our guest met Laloma during a gallery show and had a piece made in gold upon request, recalling his striking appearance and status. The appraiser notes the high value of Laloma's work and mentions the prevalence of counterfeits, affirming the authenticity of the guest's pieces. For today's market, the appraiser estimates the smaller bracelet could sell for about
It would sell for about $28,000 on today's market.
Oh my goodness.
And the other piece, probably in the $40,000 marketplace.
Oh.
Our guest is astonished by the valuation, reflecting on the significant appreciation of the pieces. The appraiser mentions that similar pieces have sold for as much as $80,000 in retail shops. Our guest describes the allure of the vase's satin texture, which initially attracted her. The appraiser identifies the vase as being made by Rörstrand.
It is a Swedish pottery. Rörstrand has a long history. It's the oldest Swedish pottery. It's been in business for about 300 years.
Really?
The appraiser notes that the vase is a mid-20th century piece made by Gunnar Nyland, known for his Scandinavian designs. The appraiser explains that the vase is porcelain with a matte glaze, giving it a silky smooth feel. Our guest is intrigued by the appraiser's description of the vase as sexy ceramics, emphasizing its unique texture. The appraiser examines the bottom of the vase, where the mark is obscured by glaze.
We've seen enough of this to be able to know what this is, that it is Rörstrand.
The appraiser rates the vase highly for its size and shape, but notes the color as less striking. The appraiser estimates the vase's auction value at
$5,000 to $7,000.
Really?
Yes.
Really? No wonder I love it.
The guest's mother acquired the Four Freedoms poster at an estate sale 30 years ago for a mere $100. These iconic posters were inspired by President Franklin Roosevelt's 1941 speech, which outlined the 4 essential human freedoms. Norman Rockwell brought these freedoms to life through his illustrations, initially offering them to the government for wartime promotion. After initial rejection, the posters gained popularity through publication in the Sunday Evening Post and were later adopted by the government for fundraising efforts. The posters were showcased on a national tour, contributing to the war effort. The posters' enduring appeal lied in their powerful symbolism and Rockwell's masterful artistry. The guest set was the largest of 3 sizes issued, featuring original folds from their mailing-in envelopes. Despite mass production, the rarity of seeing all 4 posters displayed together retains significant value, with the set estimated at
$4,000 to $6,000 for the group.
Oh, that's great.
They still command such a strong price, in large part because they're so large, but also because they're so wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. I think they're beautiful. I can hardly wait to tell my mom.
Right on.
She did good.
She sure did.
Thank you.
This glass piece is a wonder to behold. Since being purchased by the guests' parents at an estate sale in New Haven, Connecticut, this piece has been a part of their family for over 60 years. Dating back to around 1914, this piece is a stunning example of Tiffany & Company's craftsmanship. Tiffany & Company is a legendary American luxury jewelry and specialty retailer.
Operated by Louis Comfort Tiffany, who was the son of Charles Tiffany.
Founded in 1837 by Charles Louis Tiffany, the company is renowned for its exquisite diamond jewelry, iconic blue boxes, and timeless designs. This piece is crafted from aquamarine glass, a distinctive material that was only produced by Tiffany & Company for a brief period. At the bottom of this piece, the maker's mark, LC Tiffany Favril, is accompanied by a serial number.
Although the piece is signed, doesn't always mean that it is Tiffany, but only Tiffany made aquamarine glass.
Due to the challenging production process, only Tiffany & Company successfully created aquamarine glass, making this piece highly valuable, with an auction estimate of
$30,000 and $40,000. Pretty good.
A Van Briggle pottery piece called Climbing for Honey recently came into possession through the family. It belonged to the guest's great-grandfather, Harvey Young, a Western painter who retrieved it as an expo gift. This 1904 piece by Artis Van Briggle features a double A mark for Artis and Anne Van Briggle and his unique signature style. A well-known form. Introduced in 1904, the pottery showcases 2 bears climbing a beehive. Unlike most molded Van Briggle pots, this piece shows significant handwork and may be individually sculpted. It uses 2 matte green glazes with a feathered background and solid bears, making the bears stand out. Adding to its historical significance, the piece also includes a medallion from the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair. Despite minor damage with the medallion, the pot's rarity and quality make it worth around
It's $30,000 to $40,000. It's a major piece of Van Briggle.
Wow, that is amazing. Amazing.
Originally bought in 1923, a cast zinc cigar store statue once stood outside a Boulder shop in Colorado. This iconic piece was the centerpiece of the guest's grandfather's store, suggesting its unique charm and history. When the store was sold in the early 1940s, the statue was passed down to the father and stored in the basement for 55 years.
When we were little, we used to be a little scared of it, but now that we've grown up, we realize the features are just wonderful on it.
Showcasing natural wear on the elbows from countless passerby leaning on it over the years, the statue is remarkably well preserved. It proudly bears the mark of its origin, with the foundry name, William DeMuth, from New York, etched into its base. Records indicate it was valued between $800 and $1,000 in the late 1920s. Although missing a hand, it remains valuable due to its paint and detail. In today's market, such an exquisite piece can be sold with an estimated worth of
$12,000.
You're kidding?
No.
Oh, wow, that's a lot more than we thought. That's great. You're kidding me.
Not at all.
That's amazing.
At a moving sale, a unique table with intriguing legs was purchased for $200. Crafted by 18th century cabinet maker Eliphalet Chapin, the table showcases his distinctive style. It blends regional characteristics from both Philadelphia and Connecticut. Unique design influences are showcased in the cherrywood construction. Reflecting the Philadelphia cabinet-making style, the base features a trumpet-turned pillar and a compressed ball with a midband. Although the tabletop has undergone some modern repairs and features replaced cleats, the original top has been preserved.
Plate right here, you see that?
Yeah.
And so, in fact, even though the cleats are replaced, we know that the top is original to the base.
This intact original component significantly boosts the table's value. Chapin's work is highly sought after, and this table, with its authentic elements, is valued between
$15,000 to $20,000.
You're kidding me.
Not at all.
That's amazing.
Our guest shares the story of her great-great-grandfather, who received the Millard Fillmore Peace Medal, a family heirloom passed down through generations. The appraiser confirms the medal is a Millard Fillmore Peace Medal struck in 1850, given in 2 sizes and 2 types, silver and bronzed copper. These silver medals, considered chief's grade, were highly valued, and
this is the name of the mint here, probably minted in Washington, although they think some of them were minted in New York also.
The appraiser highlights the medal's design, one side featuring Millard Fillmore and the other side depicting a settler, showing the benefits of civilization. Our guest mentions the medal was loaned to the Grand Rapids Public Museum to share with the community.
He was just so proud to be a descendant of such a man.
I'm sure you're very proud to be a descendant of his.
Yes.
The appraiser praises the medal's excellent condition and unique history, emphasizing that authentic examples are rare. Though the guest heard values ranging from $5,000 to $20,000, the appraiser estimates its auction value at
between $8,000 and $12,000.
Wow.
But it's a wonderful piece to have in your family with a great history.
Oh, it's worth so much more.
Absolutely.
The host introduces the topic of electric guitars and visits the Rickenbacker Guitar headquarters to explore their private museum. The appraiser begins with the 1931 frying pan, one of the first electric guitars and the first solid-body electric guitar designed by
1931, Adolph Rickenbacker and George Beecham.
Despite its banjo-like appearance, the frying pan was revolutionary with its electromagnetic horseshoe magnet pickup, allowing guitars to play solos over loud bands. The appraiser explains that the 1931 prototype was made of wood, while production models were cast aluminium, earning the nickname the frying pan. It was used mainly for Hawaiian music and called a lap steel. In excellent condition, a frying pan can sell for
between $3,000 and $3,500 in a retail shop. There are still lap steel players that swear by them and consider them to have the best tone. All these years later, that's what they want.
Moving to the 1960s, the appraiser discusses the Rickenbacker 360/12, notably used by the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night, and its impact on rock and roll. The 1965 Rickenbacker 360/12, similar to Harrison's, influenced many iconic guitarists. The appraiser reveals that a vintage 360/12 can cost over $20,000, showcasing its enduring significance in music history.
Take more than $20,000 if you're buying one in a vintage guitar retail shop.
Well, it has been great learning about all these fabulous guitars and the birth of electric guitars. All from you, I appreciate it.
This guest purchased this piece on a trip to Sioux Falls, South Dakota for $175.
This is a bead bag purse that I bought on a trip to Sioux Falls, South Dakota on a little antique outing. I didn't know much about it, but I just fell in love with it.
Presented is a delightful beaded purse made in the 1920s. This purse is designed in a floral pattern with several colors of glass beads. The appraiser approximates the bead count to be 150 beads per square inch.
And there's approximately 150 beads to square inch. It's the same pattern on both sides.
Weighing about 6 pounds, this purse displays great quality beading. The handles of the purse are also embroidered with beads on both sides. Lacking the signature American style for these purses, the appraiser suggests the purse originates from France.
Make them in their home. They would put in a single quadrant of the purse a white bead, and there is no white bead on this purse.
On the inside is a cotton satin lining, reminiscent of Art Deco art from this era, featuring a slide-locking mechanism, its original mirror, and hand-sewn lining. This purse is of great quality. If put up for auction, this piece should sell for an estimated
around $2,000.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you.
The guest's mother bought this rug in 1967. to give as a gift to her father.
I completely forgot we had this rug until it showed up on my doorstep when my brother was going to go to Germany, and he sent it up to me.
Her brother used to keep it hanging on the wall, and he still has the original sales strip for it, on which Tabriz is written. It is notable from the remarkable condition of this silk rug that it wasn't used on the floor. The guest was told that it's from the 16th century, but it was woven in the late 19th century, and it's from Hariz instead of Tabriz. It's a finely woven silk rug with 500 knots per square inch.
And one thing that differentiates a Tabriz from a Hariz is that the weave is single wefted as opposed to double wefted.
Some of its colors have faded over time, and it looks lighter because silk reflects light. The design is very gracefully turned on corners in an uninterrupted way, and it's known as a reconciled corner. On top, the design stops, which is known as an unreconciled corner. Naturalistic drawings of flowers is a specialty of Northwest Persian reign. It was bought for $25,000, and in today's market, its value is $20,000. The updated value of the rug ranges from $20,000 to $25,000. On display now is a fascinating collection detailing a prisoner of war's experience in World War II.
The Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. They also bombed Manila and the Philippines. But instead of going back to Japan, they took the Philippines, and they took 100,000 people prisoners of war.
The guest's father was a prisoner of war who worked as a forced laborer for Mitsubishi in Japan. This collection is a record of his service during World War II.
But he was in prison camp, or as a guest of the emperor, as he used to call it, for 39 months, and then returned to Spokane and ended up having a great life and lived to age 79.
The guest's father kept a visual diary in the form of trench art. This humble mess kit served as both a chronicle of his experiences and a crucial tool for his daily existence. Also included in this collection are his timesheet and identification tag for Mitsubishi. The collection also features a photograph from his time as a prisoner of war, and one taken after his freedom was restored. The most significant item in this collection is the letter he received upon his return home. Due to the rarity of prisoner of war materials, these exceptional pieces would likely fetch a collective retail value of.
I would expect to see a retail value of $3,000 to $3,500.
Interesting.
Our guest explains that their grandmother, from the East Coast, left these pieces to them. She believed that they were valuable and that only a few sets were made. The appraiser confirms the grandmother's belief, noting that the pieces are indeed rare due to
there were very few sets made, mainly because they were expensive when they were new.
The appraiser describes the origin of the pieces. They are inspired by the Queen's beasts, sculpted by James Woodford for Queen Elizabeth II's coronation. These beasts represent various aspects of heraldry.
This represents the Lion of England with the shield of the arms of Great Britain on it. This one is the Unicorn of Scotland with the heraldic image of Scotland.
Made by Minton Porcelain, a renowned English porcelain company, these pieces are limited editions. The appraiser calls them antiques of the future and estimates their value to be
$4,000 and $6,000.
Gosh, that's great. Thank you.
The guest showcased on the show a necklace that had been in her family for generations. Originally, this piece was not made as a single item. Someone took some necklace medallions from the 1850s and arranged them with buttons from the same era. These components are linked with a chromium plate chain made in the 1920s. The necklace medallions are cut steel, judging by their appearance and their faceted tops, which are studded into the metal.
What we see are the rivets. We don't see any type of button shank in the middle. That's my clue that I know it was a necklace.
Underneath the buttons we can see brass, and the button shanks have been bent over. What makes this piece very special is that it seamlessly blends components from two different eras into one piece of jewelry. It's very hard to come by a piece like this that isn't rusted, making it quite rare. At auction, this vintage necklace, with its parts still in good condition, would be worth.
Here, you've got about $2,000 worth of cut steel pieces.
Oh my goodness.
In 1937, his father earned a scholarship to Paris, where he collected these posters. The North America Express poster depicts the Statue of Liberty and a ship. An Air France poster highlights global destinations with dynamic lines. Another Italian line poster promotes cruises with an elegant figure and stylized background. Discover a captivating Art Deco travel collection.
one of the things that collectors look for are powerful Art Deco images, and that's what we have here.
These posters capture Art Deco with bold colors and geometric shapes, reflecting early 20th century travel glamour. Iconic symbols included sleek airplanes, ocean liners, and landmarks like the Statue of Liberty. The appraiser valued the items for its vibrant charm.
$18,000 and $22,000.
This guest presents us with a collection of watches belonging to her father.
I brought in a collection. It's my dad's. He's 86, and he's collected watches for maybe 30-some years. He always wore a nice watch, like a Rolex, something like that.
This collection includes timepieces from some of the best brands of watchmakers. The first in the collection is a Patek Philippe with an 18-karat gold bracelet, with all its contents completely original and correct. The second piece is also a Patek Philippe called the Eclipse, featuring a blue dial with an 18-karat gold bracelet that did not originally come from Patek Philippe. The third piece is an Audemars Piguet superfine Swiss watch with enameled numbers around the bezel. The fourth piece is also an Audemars Piguet, sold by Gubelin, bearing the 9 deuxième movement.
The thinnest mechanical movement made, it was called the 9 deuce movement. If we looked at it sideways, it's paper thin, yet it's a mechanical wind watch.
The next piece was made by Blancpain, an 18-karat gold watch with a day, date, month, and moon phase. Next is a stainless steel Rolex Datejust with a fluted bezel and an oyster bracelet. Finally, we have the classic Cartier Santos, an automatic watch with a white enamel dial. All the watches in this collection were made between the 1960s and 1980s. Their collective retail value is estimated at
$46,000 to $57,000 worth of watches there.
Oh my goodness.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The guest found this perfume bottle at a flea market in Virginia, not realizing it was made of silver at the time. This item was identified as a French Art Nouveau perfume bottle manufactured by Le Ville-Rousseau between 1883 and 1900. The Le Ville-Rousseau company was famous for their glasswork, especially cracked vases engraved on 3 layers of glass. This bottle featured multicolored art glass with a burnished red hue and silver mounts, making it extremely rare. The silver was French with a flame finial and a base adorned with floral and leaf patterns, along with an X border. The guest, initially worried about crazing in the glass, feared it was damaged. However, the appraiser confirmed that the glass was intentionally made to look that way and was in perfect condition. Due to the global interest among perfume collectors, the appraiser valued the bottle between
The value would be, for auction, $6,000 to $8,000.
Oh my word.
The guest bought a box for $10 in a garage sale during a trip to Atlanta, and upon returning home, they discovered unexpected files in the box. These were authentic files consisting of legal correspondence between the Spalding Sporting Goods Company and the legendary golfer Bobby Jones, covering 10 years from 1931 to 1941. Jones is the only player to have ever won the Pre-Masters Grand Slam or all 4 major championships in the same calendar year, 1930. Following his Grand Slam win, Spalding sought to establish a contractual relationship with him to promote their sporting goods, particularly golf products. Among the documents were 4 signed contracts between Bobby Jones and Spalding, which were Jones's personal copies. The collection also included intriguing correspondence, such as a 1932 letter from Tommy McAuliffe, the world champion armless golfer, seeking an introduction to Bobby Jones. The appraiser expressed excitement over the historical and legal significance of the files, deeming them a valuable find. A remarkable return on the guest's initial $10 investment. The appraiser conservatively estimated the market value at
I would say, Tony, that what you have here conservatively in the marketplace would sell for $15,000.
That's marvelous.
A breathtaking work of art is showcased before us today. While strolling through Manhattan, the guest spotted this amazing piece at an antique shop window and couldn't resist buying it. This watercolor and gouache piece is a captivating creation from Walt Disney's studio.
Gouache is a fancy name for an opaque type of water-based paint. And Disney did a lot of things for the war effort. They did posters, they did...
The artwork boasts a multitude of iconic representations.
Going on. We have an aircraft carrier, right? And then we have this animated character flying off, and then we have this wonderful airplane silhouette.
Pedro, the endearing animated character, is beautifully represented in this piece. Pedro is a Disney character from the 1940s and 1950s. He's a small anthropomorphic airplane from Latin America, specifically from Brazil and Chile. Pedro first appeared in the 1942 Disney animated film Saludos Amigos.
Pedro appeared in this feature film in 1942 when it was released. He also had a cameo in Roger Rabbit later on, many years later.
Although not created by Walt Disney's own hand, this artwork remains a valuable Disney masterpiece. With its condition being so well preserved, this unique piece could realize an auction value of
$5,000 to $7,000.
Okay. Well, now I know. I've always wondered, because they told me it was Walt Disney who did it and who signed it, and I could never get an answer one way or the other from anybody, so it's at least nice to know.
During a visit to an auction house in Durham, New Hampshire, a fascinating piece caught the guest's eye. Behold, a breathtaking 1457 Genoese world map showcasing the European understanding of the world decades before Columbus set sail. It illustrates the Old World, encompassing Europe, Asia, and Africa.
Important geography. Do you notice what it's missing?
No, I never looked that hard. I was too busy focused on the folklore than I was on the geography.
The map does not include the Americas or Australia, as they were beyond the knowledge of the map makers. Mythical creatures like unicorns, dragons, mermaids, and sea monsters are also depicted on the map.
I remember seeing him first, my little devil fella, and then I think there's a mermaid somewhere. Oh, there she is. And those were the first things that I was like, this is super cool.
Despite its appearance, this map is not a 15th century original, but rather a reproduction created for Edward Luther Stevenson. Edward Luther Stevenson was an American cartographer, map collector, and explorer. He was a prominent figure in the field of cartography and geography, and his work had a significant impact on the development of map-making. As a rare and valuable item, this piece would be highly sought after at auction, with a potential value of
$4,000 to $5,000.
Holy moly. Wow. I never thought that. That's crazy. 5 turned into a lot just in a second. That's wonderful news. Thank you so much.
A delightful painting is showcased before us today. Clara Galassi, affectionately referred to as Dolly Gray, is the captivating subject of this artwork. The guest is a direct descendant of this iconic figure, being Dolly Gray's granddaughter. Dolly Gray was a pioneering European actress who made her mark in the film industry during the early 20th century.
You know any of the films that she starred in?
I have a list of the 7 or 8, but the few that come to mind are Maratona, La Dolomiti was the second one, and then Metropolis.
At the base of the painting, the artist's signature, Tarystyka, is inscribed. Tarystyka was a Polish-born American artist, best known for his portraits and figurative paintings. He was a prominent figure in the art world during the early 20th century and was particularly renowned for his captivating portraits of women.
I just fell in love with this painting as soon as I saw it. The expressiveness in her face, the way he depicts her hair falling around, it brings out her beauty here.
Given the surge in demand for Polish art, this outstanding oil-on-board painting could fetch a significant auction price of
$12,000 to $18,000 on the painting.
Okay, wonderful.
If you were going to insure this painting, I would say to insure it for around $30,000.
I see. Okay.
An elegantly drawn portrait painting from 1921 was brought up for appraisal that the guest inherited from her parents. They purchased it between the 1950s and 1960s at a dispersal sale in Weston Hall. The artist was identified as John Singer Sargent, as indicated by his signature below the painting. John Singer Sargent was an American expatriate artist considered the leading portrait painter of his generation. He created roughly 900 paintings and more than 2,000 watercolor paintings, as well as countless sketches and charcoal drawings. John painted many aristocrats, and his sitters were often well-known figures, like this particular portrait of Wallis Simpson, who was a famous American socialite.
She was a great socialite at the time, wasn't she? And she had this affair with Edward between 1918 and 1923, but also after that period was confidant of Edward, leading up to his affair with Wallis Simpson.
The painting was done in charcoal, with very captivating details, evoking the elegance of that time and showcased the confidence of the artist. This beautiful and elegant portrait of Wallace Simpson was valued at
to £50,000.
Really? Really? Oh, that's amazing, isn't it? Really?
Really?
How much? Wow.
On exhibit today is a stunning collection of American football memorabilia and artifacts.
62 Houston Texans AFL ring, a 1966 Kansas City Chiefs AFL ring, and this great game-used jersey.
This incredible collection is owned by the legendary Smokey Stover, who is also the guest's father. Smokey Stover was a player in the American Football League in the 1960s. He played as a fullback and linebacker for the New York Jets and the Kansas City Chiefs, and was a member of the Chiefs Super Bowl #1 team in 1966. The 1966 Super Bowl saw Stover take to the field wearing this very jersey. With its rich history and cultural significance to Texans, this Dallas ring would carry an insurance value of
Probably $30,000.
Okay. Likewise, this AFL championship ring would command an insurance value of
Same thing, about $30,000 insurance.
Okay. To complete this collection, this game-used jersey would be insured for
$40,000.
$40,000. That is wonderful.
Altogether, the insurance value of this collection would amount to
Looking at $100,000 insurance.
Insurance. That's what we needed to know, and I appreciate it.
On display today are two extraordinary items from the renowned artist Norman Rockwell: the chair where he sat to create many masterpieces, and one of his remarkable paintings. The guest had the unique privilege of being a child model for the esteemed artist. She is, in fact, the subject of this very painting.
That's me and Norman, yep.
And you did other modeling?
Yes, I was the baby in the babysitter painting. My mom told me many years later.
Norman Rockwell was a renowned American artist and illustrator, best known for his sentimental and often humorous depictions of American life. Rockwell's work appeared on the covers of numerous publications, including the Saturday Evening Post, Life and Look. He also created illustrations for books, advertisements, and other media.
Took many photographs. For instance, for this sitting, I sat over 15 hours, but it wasn't constant. There would be breaks in between, but it was a long day.
Rockwell was a master of storytelling through art, and his paintings often conveyed a sense of warmth, comfort, and familiarity. This enchanting piece is highly prized, with a projected insurance value of
Looking at somewhere in the sort of $80,000 to $90,000 range.
In comparison, this exceptional chair would carry an insurance valuation of
And they told me it would make at least $50,000.
You are kidding. Oh,
But
my
It's
goodness.
pretty iconic.
This lamp is a handle with a reverse-painted chipped ice glass shade, but lacks a signature, causing initial concern. A reproduction of an original drawing from the 1924 sales catalogue confirms the lamp's authenticity as model number 7126, featuring iridescent gold-etched brown. The lamp is described as having an 18-inch decorated Taroma glass shade. It also boasts peacock decorations in blues, yellows, greens, browns, and a gold-black onyx effect base. While some of these shades were signed, others, like this one, were unsigned. Henry Bedigy is attributed with the lamp's design. However, anonymous craftsmen carried out the actual painting using a stencil design. Current market conditions have seen a decline, with the estimated lamp's value between
$10,000 to $15,000 on the lamp.
Oh my goodness.
A collection of artifacts from the golden era of commercial air travel was reviewed, highlighting the adventurous time of early aviation. This collection, including flying boots, gloves, a helmet, and an oxygen mask, reflects the era's elegance and excitement. These items belong to the guest's father, who nurtured a lifelong passion for flying from his teens into the 80s. His career began with Imperial Airways, known for operating Empire flying boats, and continued with BOAC, starting in 1946. His routes included France, Cairo, Bahrain, Kolkata, Singapore, and later Australia and New Zealand. Reflecting the era's elegance, passengers wore formal attire, while pilots made repairs in evening dress.
In full evening dress, he might be found on the wing of the plane mending a propeller or something.
A symbol of luxury travel, the flying boat was often met with glamorous receptions and grand accommodations. Tangible items in the collection are valued at approximately
I'd put those cumulatively at about £1,500.
vintage 1923 Gibson A2 mandolin, bought for $35 at a Pennsylvania garage sale, came in for appraisal. Recognized by its Gibson name, the mandolin was purchased by a keen collector who often finds undervalued items. This mandolin was made during the favorable law era of Gibson's production in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Boasting several evolutionary features, the 1923 Gibson A2 mandolin stands out.
One of the most desirable instruments, and it's in lovely condition.
It includes an adjustable bridge, allowing for precise tuning and playability. Adjustable truss rod and plastic plate on the peghead ensure its continued functionality, even by today's standards. Sought after for Irish and folk music, it is regarded as one of the most desirable instruments among players.
In a retail market, this would have a value somewhere in the $3,000 to $3,500 range.
Wow. Okay.
This guest arrives at an appraisal with a seemingly ordinary sports jersey and pants. This unassuming ensemble holds a surprising history. Gifted by her aunt, the guest reveals that the uniform belonged to her late uncle, an avid sports memorabilia collector, passed down through generations. The item has been cherished within the family for approximately 30 years. Intrigue builds as the appraiser identifies the uniform as an away jersey and pants belonging to the legendary Willie Mays. It is noted that the wool flannel fabric's impeccable condition is a rarity given the physical demands of baseball. Presence of the Spalding tag and the stitch name and size of Willie Mays on the jersey further authenticate its authenticity. Its exceptional condition suggests a near-perfect grading score, a testament to the careful preservation. With a sense of anticipation, the appraiser delivers a staggering estimate of
$25,000 to $35,000.
It's amazing.
A classic photograph of the legendary baseball player Babe Ruth is displayed. The iconic picture was a beloved family heirloom in the guest's grandfather's house, now lovingly preserved by her. Babe Ruth personally signed this photograph for Henry Weber, a well-known figure in the entertainment industry.
We did a little research on Harry Weber. Harry was a theatrical agent.
Yes, a vaudevillian agent.
A vaudevillian agent, and one of Babe Ruth's very first agents.
George Herman Babe Ruth Jr. was an American professional baseball player whose career spanned from 1914 to 1935. He was one of the first 5 players elected into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1936. Ruth's impressive stats, charismatic personality, and power hitting helped popularize baseball in the 1920s and 30s. The signature on the photo can be pinpointed to the 1920 to 1922 period, characteristic of his early career autograph styles. Given its vintage, this photo is in outstanding condition, boasting a signature that is still sharp and distinct. This rare photograph is expected to fetch a substantial auction estimate of
$15,000 and $20,000.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't be surprised if it sold for more.